Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel every day in the month of October. It chooses the horror movie or TV show and they discuss it. Today we're talking about Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark, which aired from 1992 to 1996. And I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Eric.
Take it away, Eric.
All right, I'll start by saying I was raised on Are You Afraid of the Dark. Introduced me to horror completely, but whenever I rewatch anything from Are You Afraid of the Dark, and I do on occasion, it's peak nostalgia for me. Peak nostalgia. I'll just say I was obsessed with the Midnight Society, completely obsessed with it. Our good friend Mike, who we've had on the podcast before, was so terrified of Dead Man's Float, the episode where the guy comes out of the pool drain.
Oh yeah.
We used to make the joke, didn't you go to therapy for that? And he didn't, I don't think, but maybe he did. I don't know. But also another thing I want to mention, because I want to share this in this Facebook page. I follow a page, and it's probably one of the reasons why I still have a Facebook. It's the Are You Afraid of the Dark fan page, and it's about 14,000 people in it. It's a private group, but there's some really cool conversations that go into it, and a lot of fun facts and awesome artwork. And so I just love going into that group and reading up and oh crap, he was in this. Oh my god, I didn't realize that was that guy. And it's just something to keep tabs on. And I'll definitely post this into that group and say, hey, anyone want to check this out? Have fun. But
yeah, I mean, it would make sense that the group has so many people. It's got such a big following because they did a reboot in 2019, right? So it must be.
Yeah, they did a reboot, and it's it was a 3-part Carnival of Doom series, and it was a whole different Midnight Society. Didn't really do a lot of the original stuff. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. But then they did another reboot a couple years later, this past February, The Curse of the Shadows. Totally different cast again, 3-parter, but they brought back Sardo. I don't know if you remember him, the magic shop owner. And that was kind of a cool little nod. And I watched both of them, and I loved both of them. I can't get enough Are You Afraid of the Dark, honestly. So I hope they keep doing more stuff with it on Nickelodeon. It's my only kid thing I go back to pretty much.
So obviously, if there was a war that broke out between the Goosebumps kids and the Are You Afraid of the Dark kids, you clearly would be on the You Afraid of the Dark's team.
Yeah. I like Goosebumps though, but Are You Afraid of the Dark all day, every day.
Well, even the intro, dude. The intro of Are You Afraid of the Dark completely blows the Goosebumps intro out of the water. Way scarier. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah.
Traumatizing stuff.
Oh yeah, that clown doll in the attic thing. You're done as a kid. You see that, you're running away. You're covering your ears, la 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 la, trying not to get scared. Oh,
I didn't realize this is mostly a Canadian show. It's filmed in Canada.
Yeah.
It's mostly Canadian actors. I had no idea.
I mean, a lot of big Canadian actors got their start. Ryan Gosling's the first one I can think of. He was in one of these episodes, and that's, I don't know if he started with it, but obviously he was young, early in his career.
No, it's a cool show. It's a cool idea. I mean, it's just a bunch of kids tell a story every episode, and
at midnight they all meet in the woods, and their parents aren't around. It's super cool.
Well, it's kind of funny because there's 100 episodes. It's how fucked up are these kids that they know? They know every horrible murder story that's ever been told, every urban legend that's ever been told, they're talking about it. So it's what's wrong with these kids?
Yeah, and I like to say I've seen every episode, every reboot too. I think that's fair to say.
I've never seen any of the reboots, but I'm fairly confident I've seen all of the original series just on reruns on Nickelodeon when I was a kid too. So all of these, it was when I was watching it, I was oh, I kind of remember that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Peak nostalgia, dude. Peak nostalgia.
Yeah. What do you say? You want to jump into them?
Yeah. So we're gonna do 3 really quick. Laughing in the Dark first, and then we're gonna do the Ghastly Grinner, and then we're gonna do the Tale of the Shiny Red Bicycle. 3 of my favorites and 3 of a lot of fan favorites for sure. So Laughing in the Dark. Alec, what did you think?
Yeah, this one, I think this is probably my least favorite of all of them, but it does, because this was the second episode of the series, or the second or third episode.
Correct. Second ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely puts you in okay, we're going to crazy town in this show. I liked it. I thought it was cool. It reminded me of kind of a Twilight Zone episode, but you could see the later episodes that we watched, the progression and production quality, just, it seems like everything gets better. But this was a good place to start. And the guy that played, not Zebo, but his keeper or whatever, the
Aaron Tager.
Yeah. I thought he was pretty creepy. His teeth were disgusting.
Great actor. Well, he's also in the first episode, The Tale of the Phantom Cab, and he plays, everyone knows him as the actor who played Dr. Vink with the V. Sadly passed away in 2019 at the age of 84, but
Huh.
Really great actor. Really, really love his stuff.
Yeah, so it was fun. I mean, those kids are dicks to each other, dude.
Oh my god, they're so mean. It's like, he's your best friend. Like, can't you be a little nicer? He's like, I'm gonna embarrass you in front of the school. And I'm gonna associate with you.
Yeah, like, why are you friends with this kid? But yeah, I mean, so this is one of your favorites. Why this one?
Well, I just like I just remember the twist as at the end, which the keeper who you just said, Aaron Tager, he's Zebo.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's kinda what I figured.
You didn't, well, that's up for interpretation, but we see it's the most fun in the park when you're laughing in the dark, and he clearly runs the whole thing, and there was a circus fire, and he's smoking cigars at the end, and then it goes to pans to Zebo, and the smoke cigars coming out, so it's like, oh, that guy's Zebo. So I always thought that, like, my mind getting blown as a kid was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, that cigar smoke everywhere is pretty funny.
The purple cigar smoke is like, what kind of cigars are these? Like, damn.
Well, yeah, what are they supposed to be?
I mean, well, I mean, cigar smoke doesn't look purple, does it?
No.
Like, geez, like, what is this? Like, what kind of chemicals are in this thing?
Well, I'm
like,
like, because it's in his house and stuff like that, so I'm imagining, like, are his parents gonna come home and be like, "Gee, are you smoking a cigar?" Like,
yeah, I know. Well, also, he gifts Zebo like, here's some cigars. Like, no hard feelings. It's like, where'd you get those? You steal those for your dad? So your parents are gonna come home and like, it stinks like cigars in this house, and he's got a lot of explaining to do. Like, and where are they?
yeah,
Did you
yeah.
microwave our cigars? Like, what is wrong with you? It's like, there's a clown. There's a clown.
Well, so here's the thing, why did Zebo even let him take the nose? Why didn't he just, like, rip his throat out right there in the funhouse? I mean, what the hell is the point?
And he's messing with them. He's
Yeah?
messing with them. Clearly, I mean, he can get it's just a nose. You can get that anywhere. You can get that red nose day. Just like Patch Adams. Like, just grab it somewhere.
So, yeah, so he lets that red-haired kid go in, steal his nose, and then he's like, "Alright, well, now I'm gonna fuck with him for the next, like,
Yeah,
couple days."
that's what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's like it's the most fun in the park when you're chasing after these kids in the dark. I don't know.
But, like, so is this carnival always in town, or is it just, like, when they want to get I don't know, when they wanna scare a kid?
I mean, it feels like it could be over a weekend. You know, when the carnival comes to town, like a summer time. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely not scary, obviously, but I liked it. The quality of the camera, though, was really shitty for some reason. I don't know. Dude, like
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like, what? When was this film? Like 92. Like,
yeah,
probably on a production budget of like maybe $8,000.
I'm
Like,
thinking that's it because it's, like, the first season, so they're like, "Listen, we don't know if this is really gonna work, so, like, get some Canadians, give them a couple bucks, let's see what happens," but you do see, though, especially in the last episode we watched, I was like, "Oh, okay, they've got a budget now."
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just love the red haired kid. Like, there's a hockey scene where he's playing hockey. It's like, oh yeah, this is definitely a Canadian show. Like, up in the bedroom, but he's like the bully from every '90s movie combined, and like the guy from A Christmas Story. Like, all like just one bully.
Dude, even, like, the Midnight Societies, they're kinda bullies to each other too, they're just like, "Look at little Miss Perfect," like, she
Yeah, I know.
I was like, "Yo," like,
They
everyone
really are.
yeah, I was like, was everybody an asshole in the '90s and I forgot?
I guess I kind of remember we were. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on to the next one. I love Laughing in the Dark. Probably my top three, and this is why we're doing these three. But anyway, the next one, probably my all-time favorite, The Tale of the Ghastly Grinner.
Dun, dun,
What
dun.
did you think, Alec?
Yeah, this one was probably my favorite too. I remembered the face, like, definitely, like, later in yeah, or when I saw it when I was a kid or whatever, but, yeah, it was cool, it was different, like, I was superhero-y and comic booky and stuff. And one thing that stood out to me was that was a kid from Billy Madison.
No, it was.
Yeah, he's, like, his friend or whatever that, like, Billy Madison hangs out with when
Sometimes they get parking cone up your ass or whatever. That
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
right?
Dude, the second the kid's on screen, I'm like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" And I, like, look at him up, and
Oh
I'm
my
like
god, I never put that together. That's crazy.
yeah, dude, he's from Billy Madison. I was just like, "Wow, that's" yeah, it's right around the same time, so he probably got that. And then just really quick before we dive into it, the funniest thing I was laughing out loud, dude, is when the house, like, lights on fire and the girl's like, "Did your house just blow up?" And he walks downstairs. Him waving the fog out of his face is like
Yeah.
it's so bad that I'm like, "What?" He's just like his arms are just constantly waving like, "Mom? Dad? Are you okay?" And his hands are just, like, constantly going. Did you notice that?
Yeah, dude, I love when that stuff happens. Dude, it's so good.
Oh
It's
my
so, like, clearly one take and, like, they're done.
oh
Like,
my god. No one was like, "Hey, like, Jonathan, like, just maybe, like, a little less with that arm waving." Like, but
and then he's like, "Ah, just keep going. We're almost done with the day." Like,
Yeah.
Cut.
But
It's like, "You wanna do it again?" It's like, "No, no, no, it was fine, it was fine."
yeah, so it was a lot. But so why do you like this one so much?
Now that I'm an adult, this one gave me insane nightmares as a kid. Like, bad for a long time. I had the same nightmare over and over again with, like, the Ghastly Grinner and killer clowns from outer space, like, coming to get me, and I have this, like, dream where I'm looking out my window, and I just see the Ghastly Grinner, like, running down my driveway, and I'm like, "Oh my god, he's gonna be here any minute," and, like, he's coming for me, and I'd be in my bedroom, and he'd, like, drag me down into the basement, and it was pretty scary back in the day.
I
Yeah.
mean, the face is terrifying, so I could see, you know.
Yeah, I'm talking like I was like 4 years old or 5 years old when I saw this, so way too young, but, it was Nickelodeon, so,
Right, right. So it's
um
cool. Yeah, I mean, the face is terrifying. Obviously, the fact that it like possesses your parents, I think that's what little kids are most afraid of. It's like your parents can't even help you. They're possessed by this thing.
yeah,
I think that's
and
definitely gonna fuck a kid up.
and the blue slime, pretty creepy, the ghastly slime.
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah, I mean, dude, well, eventually we'll watch Trolls 2, and, Trolls 2 definitely may help inspire this movie with green slime instead, but
Oh, okay,
yeah,
interesting.
I think you're gonna like Trolls 2 a lot, but the the one thing I noticed too, which I'm like, "God damn it," 'cause this almost reminded me of, like, The Babadook a little bit, where I was like, "Oh, it's like a really mysterious, evil comic book that this one guy did," but then, I don't know if you noticed, dude, there's a scene where you see the back of the comic, and it's got an ad for Ren and Stimpy and an ad for Are You Afraid of the Dark on the back.
I didn't notice that, no.
Yeah, dude, I was like it's right when there's like a hole in the comic book and he turns it around and there's literally just like Ren and Stimpy and I was just like, "Come on." I was like that I mean, I know it's a kid show, but I'm still just
Product placement.
I know, but I'm like, this is supposed to be like an evil, one of a kind, demon-y, like,
Yeah,
Necronomicon.
he didn't even finish the comic yet, so why is there ads on the back of it?
I know, and it's like it's a one of a kind, it never even made it to production. It's like, but somehow it's still got ads.
Has to get Ren and Stimpy on the back. Wow, I wish you were around when I was little, because then I coulda used that and be like, "Yeah, you're right. It can't be real." Like, but I didn't have you. Well, I did, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I wasn't I mean, I probably logically wouldn't be thinking that either, I'd be too terrified.
I just like the idea too, like, you can just, like, write him to death or whatever, or, like, draw him to death and, like, erase him with a big eraser, and that's how you kill the Ghastly Grinner.
Oh my god, yeah, that little girl who just pulls out that eraser at the end. It's
Hooper, her name's Hooper,
That's a pretty funny little joke they keep bringing back, where it's just like, "I'm Hooper, I'm the girl that sits from you across from you in Mr. Volman's class." Like, "Yeah, I know, I know."
and, like, the Ghastly Grinner's trying to, like, turn her into the slime, and then she's like, "Sorry, I don't have much of a sense of humor." And it's like,
Yeah.
"What? This girl doesn't laugh?" Like, and he's like, "What's wrong, little girl?" And he's, like, holding her by the pigtails. I love that. It's so funny.
That was pretty good. I also, like, when the Ghastly Grinner's about to kill the main boy, and he's literally, like, choking him, holding him as he murders the, like, principal, who was pretty actually, the principal is pretty scary when he comes in, he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Nothing you believe," and he's like, "This is no lie," and he freaks out. I was like, "This guy's scary." Ghastly Grinner kills him, then starts choking the boy or whatever. Then Hooper comes over and just slaps the monster, and they both just run outside. I was like, "Hmm."
And get on a bus or something. I forget what happens next. But, like, it's like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's like, so it's pretty easy to get away from this thing.
Yeah.
The parents, though, what do you think of those guys with
Oh, they
their
look so shitty. Just
what?
terrible parents. Like, they're just, like, eating, like, pretzels and Cheetos and watching TV all day.
Yeah, I love how they're like, No stupid son of ours is gonna be like some comic book guy or whatever," and then they're just sitting there watching TV. It's like, okay, like, just bashing people over the head with that.
Yeah, and then, like, watching America's Home Funniest Videos or whatever, like, on repeat, and then
Yeah.
at the end, they're there, and they're like, "Oh, we love our son. We've always encouraged him to do drawings and stuff." It's like, "It's comic books and graphic novels, but okay, mom." Like,
Well, what about Uncas's daughter or whatever? Like, they just leave her to get
I
murdered.
right, yeah, that made no sense, but here's the thing that really got me tripped up, like, Sylvester Uncas, was he, like, trapped by the Ghastly Grinner somewhere, or, like, why did
Yeah.
he just, like, appear out of nowhere?
I think he was in the comic, and then
Oh,
when
that's it, yeah,
but
okay.
dude, he looked like he was fucked up when he came out. He's just like, "Hello, like, I'm Sylvester."
He's just, like, he's not, like, not staring at the camera, he's, like, staring at the ground, like, it's like, "No, look at Ethan." He's like, "No." "Okay, like, look at Ethan."
Yeah, where'd they find that guy? No, but yeah, I'm, like, wondering, like, what happened? Did his brain just turn into, like, mush after being in, like, the comic book Matrix for, like, fucking 20 years or whatever?
Like, "I haven't seen you in so long, oh my god, dad," or
Yeah.
whatever, uncle, yeah.
Oh, and then also I read a little bit of trivia about this, Eric. So,
Ooh,
apparently they say in this episode, they're like, "This is the one and only one that he ever did." Sylvester Uncas, the only thing he ever wrote. And I guess apparently in some future episodes, they are seen. There's more episodes.
Sylvester Uncas. Yeah, yeah. Well, they do a good job of bringing other episodes into different episodes. Like the name Zeeb, or like instead of Zebo, they just call you're such a Zeeb. That's like in the whole series throughout the whole Are You Afraid of the Dark? So it's like Are You Afraid of the Dark universe. And in the remake, spoiler alert for the Carnival of Doom remake, at the end of it, the Midnight Society is about to do their next story, and they say the tale of the Ghastly Grinner. So the next story they're telling is this story, which was kind of cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so they do a good job of, like, bringing in, like, "Oh, this and this and into this episode." So,
Well, it's funny because the guy that wrote and directed the first one, we just The Laughing in the Dark, and then this one were the same guy.
I did not know that. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I tried to look up as much little stuff as I could because I'm like, well, these are short episodes. They fly by.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
not even 20 minutes, really. Like,
no, with the intro and like with all the Midnight Society bullshit in the beginning where they're just
well, you
like,
have to have your commercials for kids, like, in between each episode. Like,
oh
"Hey,
yeah.
kids, like, check out this Nerf gun. Like, you wanna buy it? Get your parents to buy it. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it."
That's the whole reason the show exists, basically.
Yeah, sometimes I like find myself singing like kid commercial songs too from like Nickelodeon, like Gator Golf, na 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 na, Gator Golf, and then right back, Gator Golf. What can be greater than golfing with Gator? Like in my head, like I'm like, why is this in my head from like 1994?
There's because that's the thing. That's what's like kind of fucked up is like there are like probably scientists that are like, okay, this is the most comfortable sound to a child to make them want to. It's like, yeah, that probably exists.
But like the worst possible thing to listen to if you're like hungover at like 9 a.m. getting ready for work. Like, oh my god, like
Yeah, they're not factoring that. It's like Pedialyte. It's like this is made for sick children, and then there's like hungover people that are like, this is fucking awesome. So
this is
it's made for sick babies. Is like the song.
yeah, I don't know. But like
But
that just happens to me where all of a sudden I'm like, why is the It from the Pit song stuck in my head? Like It from the Pit or like Crossfire.
oh, Crossfire is always.
Crossfire, you
Uh,
can fight it.
I love Crossfire. Anyways, yeah, you want to move into the third part?
Let's do it. I think we just like exhausted that one. Yeah, this is another great episode of big fan favorite out there. The Tale of the Shiny Red Bicycle.
Oh yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
one of the better like full stories too, plot wise, I think.
Yeah, there was a big plot hole to me throughout the whole episode, and then they actually justified it at the end, and I was like, "You tricky motherfuckers!" Like,
What was the plot hole?
so I was like, "Why is the kid who died coming back now?" I was like, "It doesn't." I was thinking, I was like, the kid's been dead for a few years. I'm like, "Why is he coming back now?" And then I was like, "Oh, because his younger brother was about to die the same way. So now the ghost is coming back to warn him about that incident, and now he can rest at peace."
Yeah. How about this plot hole? Like, what's with his approach? Like, he's scaring him. Like, you got to be like, "Hey, Mike, it's me. Like, I need
Oh
to
yeah.
talk to you." It's like instead he's like, "Mike, Mike." It's like change up your outfit, get some new clothes.
Well, we don't know
Like,
how the ghost feels. He could be feeling like he's just like, "Mike, hey dude, Mike," but it's like the interdimensional
right.
portal is like turning it into like Michael. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. And then also he kind of does explain it. Like, I tried to tell you in school yesterday. Like, I've been trying to reach you, dude. It's like you run away from me. It's like, well, you've been dead, dude, for like only 5 years. Like, this kid grew. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and this kid is all Mike is like 35 in high school. That guy is not a freshman in high school or whatever, you
No,
know?
no. But I actually and the other thing is watching, a bunch of these back to back. I think that when Mike plays the older version of himself, I was like, I think this is the best acting I've ever seen in the show so far.
Probably. Probably.
Like, it doesn't feel like the lines are just very minutes like, "You're such a poop head." It's like, "Don't call me that."
I'm telling mom.
Yeah, this guy's actually just like, "What are you talking about? Like, Mike's dead?" Like, he seemed like he actually had a little more going on.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Mike, that's how I wake up Mike. Like whenever Mike sleeps over, it's like, Mike, Mike, what is wrong with you? Like
"Stop it, you're scaring me." Yeah, it's kinda funny though, it reminded me of the Collinsville Bridge, like that area a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
In the area that we're from, there's just like it's like a dam, but there's also a bridge, and there's also like this wooded area, and it looked a lot like the
There's been accidents there too. Like
yeah.
deaths there. So
Recently,
that's
I think,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, damn. So, yeah, stuff that this does happen. I mean, the way that this happens is kinda stupid, like, they're just arguing, and he just, like
They're not even arguing. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you in fishing or something." It's
oh,
like it
yeah.
was like fun. They're really good friends, and it's traumatizing. Like you had the chance to save your friend, but he slipped out of your grip. It's like, that's traumatizing stuff. Like, that's gonna stick with you forever.
And then the parents are just like, "Get over it. He's been dead for 5
Yeah, I
years."
know, his parents are terrible. Like, "It's been 5 years." It's like, "It's my best friend. I was really young. Maybe I should go to therapy or something." Like,
Like, "No, no son of mine needs to talk about his feelings. Have a Coors Light." No, but it is very
yeah, exactly. "We're going fishing."
but
Like,
it is,
ugh.
like, kind of fucked up because like, it's not like, oh my god, like, his friend, like, let's just say horrible scenario, he gets cancer and he dies and, like, it's a very tragic thing that happens. No, this is like, you had the chance to save your best friend and you saw him die in your hands unexpectedly. Like, that is gonna fuck you up hardcore.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when he's getting haunted, he feels like he's mad at me because I didn't save his life, and that's even more messed up.
Yeah, but yeah, it does suck that the whole family's just like, "Get over it."
Yeah, except, like, the young brother is like, "No, I understand why this is a problem." Like,
Where's the kid who's died's parents, though? Like, why aren't they like, "Hey, like, you tried your best to save him," or are they like, "You fucking killed him."
I don't know. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Do you realize, the little kids fishing, who was the one that, like, threw the bobber, whatever it's called, the fishing thing? Forgot what
Who
those things are called.
who was it?
Yeah, that was Eli from, Girl Next Door and the guy from Just Friends, Ryan Reynolds' brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
another Canadian actor, yeah.
Oh, shit, I don't know how I missed that.
"Sorry, it was an accident."
Oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's him, yeah.
He's also in, Freddy vs. Jason.
Right. Oh, and speaking of Girl Next Door, Alicia Cuthbert was a Midnight Society member and one of the reboots, like, back in the early 2000s, I think.
Ah.
Yeah, a lot of Canadians in this show for sure.
I had no idea it was actually a Canadian show. Now I'm, like,
Yeah.
looking out for them. Well, he did say one thing where he's like, "You went to, like, the nurses' station." He said that, and I was like, "Is the nurses' station?" I was like
The nurses station, yeah.
so I was like, "Maybe that's, like, a Canadian thing where instead of they say nurse's office, they say nursing station?" I don't know. But
Yeah,
otherwise, I didn't really catch any overt Canadian things except for the hockey stuff, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, this one's, like, the realist, I guess, where the other ones are more just, like, obviously, there's, like, a killer clown, and there's a killer clown again in the second one.
There's another one, there's a couple ones that are, like, very real and traumatizing, like, things happen, but this is definitely one of the best, like, plots, I think, like, story structure-wise.
They do kind of say one thing weird at the end where first of all, you're gonna tell me they didn't find his bike.
They didn't find him either.
I know, but they kinda explain that at the end where he's just like, "And they said that his body wasn't laid to rest until he, like, figured that thing out." Like,
It's like,
s
"Oh, I gotta stay, like, in limbo until, like, this one moment." Like, I could tell him now, like, "Hey, this day in October, like, don't let him go fishing."
yeah, yeah, exactly, I could just literally say it right now. It's like, "No, no, 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 you have to
We're
wait
gonna
in
wait.
real time." It's like, "But, okay, can I at least change my clothes because 'Cause I'm in a really sopping
I'm
wet."
really cold, I'm really
Yeah.
cold.
"No, no, 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 that's not how the ghost rules work." I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
It must suck to get haunted by a bike too. Like, everywhere he goes, he, like, sees the bike.
Yeah, he sees that one thing, his friend's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Nothing, nothing."
No, nothing, it's just the bike. My, best friend died, no, long story, like
Yeah, yeah, he's like, "Ah, we don't have time. We really don't have time for this." But I like too when they're in the classroom or whatever, and he's like, I don't know if he's hearing the little boy calling his name or whatever, but he's not focusing. And then the teacher's like, "Listen, I had to spend the night
I know, dude.
with my
That's
in-laws last night. So
cut me some slack.
I'm trying to imagine like a little kid watching it. They're like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
My in-laws came over. Like, "What
Yeah.
what does that mean?" I love it, yeah. I just like the ending too where, the bike gets rusty. Like, I think that's such a cool ending.
Yeah, everything gets resolved. I mean, dude, I do same reason as you, like, I get this nostalgic feeling rewatching it, and it's like it's like I imagine my brain is like a computer, and this is like the lowest, like, I'm like, "Oh my god, I remember this." Like, it
Yeah.
starts to come back a little bit, like fragments of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love revisiting this sort of stuff. Are You Afraid of the Dark's probably, like, my favorite thing I'd, like, rewatch. I bought the DVDs in, like, high school and, like, watched it. I watched it a lot. Like, I love the show.
yeah, I mean, like, this and Goosebumps, and I don't think there's any other, like,
So
eerie.
Weird, maybe. It's probably,
Oh,
like, the only
yeah.
other one
But
from,
that
like,
was
Disney.
more I like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark were cool because it was like
Like,
every
stories,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Twilight Zone where everyone's different, where So Weird was kind of like a continuing plot. So, yeah, Disney didn't really have like a anthology series, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I hope they bring it back in this style. They haven't been doing it. They've been doing, like, the 3 trilogy shows or, like, the 5-episode ones or just, like, a continuation more of, like, the Midnight Society and focusing on them.
Yeah.
I like that every show's a different episode, but I can imagine how that gets costly, like actors, budgets, all that stuff.
Well, I looked it up, man, and it's, I was kinda surprised that they didn't bring back any of the original Midnight Society guys or girls from the show for the reboot at all, just to be like, "Hey, like, I remember what it was like, we're passing the torch down to you guys."
They kinda did that in the 2000 reboot where the older brother, like, was leaving and gave it to the younger brother
Yeah.
to the Midnight Society member, and then that kinda never happened again, but
Well, also, where are their parents? Because this is, like, many families, this is what, like, 10 kids? So all their parents are like, "Yeah, go out in the woods and tell scary stories with your friends. Like, go ahead."
Yeah, there was a movie in 2000 that kinda went into that and how, like, the Midnight Society was started by their grandparents, so I think their parents know about this, I
Huh.
think. So it's like, "Oh,
Oh,
grandpa used to do the Midnight Society." It was like a more like a Boy Scouts club more than anything.
okay.
So, it was
Well,
cool. Like, I like that a movie, I think it was called The Tale of the Silver Sight. That's a 1 or 2-parter, I think, or 3-parter maybe.
hmm,
It's back in the day. It was a
alright.
Wednesday watching
There's
that.
one last thing I just kinda wanna, like, briefly talk about, which makes me a little bit, like, sad a little bit. I look at what's going on now with, like, all of these cartoons and shows from, like, the early '90s that were on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and all this
Mhm.
stuff. They're just getting, like, reboots and stuff, and they're not like, I mean, I know they're making new shows and stuff like that, but who is this for, do you think? Do you think that this reboot is for you, or do you think this is for kids that are, like, 10 or younger?
Kids that are younger than 10 even. I think it's for, like, 4 and 5-year-olds more than anything that, like, parents just like, "Hey, here's the iPad, look at the beautiful colors and vividness of this new SpongeBob animation." I mean, it's SpongeBob too. SpongeBob has a totally different animation style where it's like, I don't know, like, the drawing, the way it had the artistic ways were just, like, part of the style, and now it's just, like, all 3D, and I don't know, it feels more video game-like than what it was before. Like, Rugrats has that 3D look, but I don't hate it. I think it's just for the new generation, really.
But do you see what I mean? Where it's like, I guess more specifically, like, are you afraid of the dark? Like, if they're making it not for you, like a huge fan from when you were a kid, that you're like, I want to see where it keeps going. But it's like they're just taking the name and then basically like the premise.
Slapping him. I think they're also trying to reach out to people like me who, like, I don't have kids yet, but if I did, like, would love to watch it with them, you know?
Yeah, it's just I just get concerned about like 20 years from now when there's only reboots of reboots, where it's like, where
That's
is
been
there?
going on forever, dude. It's gonna keep on going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I miss the originality and, but anyways, doesn't matter. That's not scary. That's not nothing to do with what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
well, do you have any last minute thoughts on any of these Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes?
No, just I love it, and, it's the most fun in the park when you're laughing in the dark, Alec.
I guess so. I guess so. That should have been your high school yearbook quote.
It's the most fun in the park. Yeah, it should have been. I think I used, like, an Abraham Lincoln quote or something. I
It's like
forgot.
Zebo. It just
Zevo.
that would
You're
have
such a
been
Zeeb.
that would have been actually hilarious. Well, what do you say spin the wheel, Eric?
Alright, we shall. Really happy we threw this one on the wheel, though.
Oh yeah. I'm glad we get to
Shit,
talk
I
about it too.
don't. Alright, pulling it up. Spinning. Frankenstein.
Perfect, dude. That is finally gonna be the oldest movie we've ever done. So I'm pretty
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, I mean 1931. Like holy
That's
shit.
as old as it gets.
That's a 90-year-old film we're about to cover, so that's gonna be cool. We
Hot
also
damn.
have Zach Zatet, who's gonna be joining us as a guest. Get ready for
Awesome.
that. Yeah, he's got some cool stories from, actually, I won't say anything, but
Alright. Okay, keep me waiting.
alright, well, Eric, it was nice to talk about this.
Let it all out. Now I can
Yeah.
move on.
Alright, well, thank you everybody so much for listening in, and we will see y'all tomorrow with Frankenstein.